In this video, we'll review how to add services to your account and allow you to go ahead and create appointments inside the portal, or also allow your customers to schedule appointments through the app. It all starts with services. On the Services tab, what you want to do is click Add Service and define a name for service. Now, this name will be the same name that you see inside the portal. It'll also be the same name that your customers see if they're allowed to schedule appointments in the application. I can choose a type, and I can create custom types here if you want to go ahead and organize your services by type or by color. And optionally, I can go ahead and provide a price. So for example, the price can be for a total package, such as a groom, or it could be based on an amount of time, like a walk. A required field is duration. Now, what duration defines is when the appointment is supposed to end. So for example, if I type 2 hours, what happens is when I schedule an appointment, the calendar will start, for example, at noon, and it will end at 2 p.m. because I've defined this service as lasting for 2 hours. The next field is capacity. Now, inside capacity, what we can do is we can define how many concurrent appointments I can have of this service type. So what this means, for example, is if I define 2 here, I can only have 2 customers scheduled for a dog walk simultaneously. Now, what happens with this rule is if you try to create a third appointment during this time slot, inside the portal you'll get a warning, but you can't override it. But what will happen, however, is if an app user tries to schedule an appointment through the phone and the capacity is exceeded, they will be blocked from going ahead and entering that time. Assign employee allows you to specify whether or not, when you schedule the appointments, that you can assign a specific employee to the appointment. My availability, I can go ahead and specify whether it just follows my operating hours, or for example, what I want one to do is specifically offer this service on weekends. Now, the scheduling piece has a couple options. The first option is I can specify that this appointment requires a reservation. And what this means is this is not an open enrollment, that I actually have to schedule an appointment for this to go ahead and come through the calendar. The other option is not require reservation, and what happens here is I can just go ahead and it's an open event, perhaps it's a charity event, perhaps it's an open house, and I don't require people to create reservations. This option here specifies whether or not I'm going to allow my customers to schedule an appointment through the application. Now, there's 2 options here. One is my customers can request an appointment, and that appointment is not confirmed until I actually approve it inside the portal. My second option is my customers can schedule an appointment, and I do not require to approve that appointment. Again, this might be the case of some sort of open house event or something where I'm not concerned about how many people show up to the event. Last but not least, what I can do is I can specify the minimum amount of notice I require for this appointment. So for example, you cannot schedule this appointment 2 hours prior to the actual event, and I might specify that you cannot schedule this appointment more than 1 year in advance. What I can do is I can add some notes here, and those will be private notes I can use to understand what the service is set up for. And last but not least, we'll click Save, and next we'll show you what it looks like to schedule this appointment.